Hello and welcome to today's MSI 2024 recap of day 10, where we're going to go over Fnatic Team Liquid and Top Esports Gen G, and then preview the two series that are going to take place tomorrow. Prediction-wise, full disclosure, if you didn't watch the prediction video, I've been publishing them to everybody, right or wrong, after the series starts. I had Team Liquid losing this one. Honestly, going into the event, I thought Team Liquid wouldn't win any games at this event. So, for them to beat Fnatic is a surprise. Personally, I think Fnatic didn't show up, and in every role, pretty much that was the case. I thought June had some nice plays, then also probably overextended and lost them a game by himself. So, game one, at 13:45, we saw Impact had 1K gold. So the laning phase in game one, very focused on topside for Team Liquid. They would go topside twice. Fnatic would go mid twice, resulting in Humanoid with a 900 gold lead. 34 CS lead combined between jungle and mid lane for Fnatic, but they couldn't do anything with it because Yeon and Core JJ were very dominant in this series. We see that in the stats at the end. Combined going 28-12 and 64 combined. So very good KDA, and Yeon ends up leading the team in damage share. So with this prio and things like that, we also saw a split of grubs. Fnatic taking 4, TL taking 2. Fnatic took the Rift Herald, but TL had all 3 Drakes. And we saw once again, especially throughout this entire series, TL taking emphasis on the Drakes over the 4 games. Their one power play, they averaged about, well, they didn't average, they almost put up about 1,500 gold. If you take out the 1,525 you get, just securing the objective. Game 2, Fnatic would respond. Oscar ahead massively over Impact, 1.9k gold and 43 CS, and he was disgusting. I think he was on the Poppy in Game 2, and Team Liquid just had no answer for that at all. And frankly, it was just what a strong pick it was. So Humanoid also had 400 golds, 11 CS. Slow laning phase, only 2 plays for Fnatic, 1 play for Liquid, but Fnatic secured all 6 grubs with all this strong play in top lane, and the Drakes were split 2-2. Of course, Fnatic taking grubs, and then Team Liquid taking a couple Drakes, and Fnatic taking a couple Drakes in the mid game when they start winning team fights and taking over completely. 3,500 gold power play, that would be the only power play Fnatic had all series long. Game 3, very close at the end of laning phase at about 13 minutes. The only, the biggest lead TL had in any of the 4 roles was, 4 areas, was 300 gold. So combined, they're up like 1.1k, but shoot, that's not much at 14 minutes. And they kind of also, so we have the gold ahead for Team Liquid, but Fnatic ahead CS. Kind of goes to show you that Team Liquid were more active, securing kills and turret plates. In terms of making plays, so TL went mid lane 3 times, helped APA get ahead, and Fnatic went bot side 3 times. Noah and June into Yeon Core JJ, like I said, struggled, and then APA started taking over at this point as well, and Humanoid really couldn't answer him. And it was definitely unfortunate for Humanoid. I think Humanoid's a lot better than the way he played today, but he does have moments like today that make you scratch your head. TL had 1 power play. It would be about 3,200 gold. They took all 6 grubs and the Rift Herald in this one, so once they got the Bear and the Siege, it was relatively easy. And that's also why Fnatic were able to siege so well in Game 2 with all 6 grubs. I mean, it all kind of stacks together. Game 4. So Fnatic had the lead in this one. Laning phase ended in under 10 minutes. 500 gold lead in top jungle and a 1k gold lead for Noah June. But in the mid game, they threw it away. Team Liquid are able to push them away from objectives, win key team fights, and win the series. 3 plays topside for Fnatic, really trying to get Oscar ahead of Impact, and also just get prio on the top side. And that resulted in 4 grubs and a Rift Herald, but they didn't have all 6. Team Liquid took 3 Drakes to 1. Once again, taking advantage of Drakes. You want to take grubs, we'll take Drakes. We've seen all tournament long, and we've seen all tournament long this handshake, and we saw it in domestic play as well. But something that we're monitoring, and at the end, I'm going to try and bring all these numbers together and see what the win rate might have been, depending on, which route teams took in competitive series. In my opinion, these two series are prime examples of what we should look at for, win rates on things like this, not necessarily how Astral and T1 played, or, that series. I was going to say something about like BLG, but BLG, PSG actually up being competitive in the end. So 28 gold power play for Team Liquid. That shows, in the mid to late game, they end up taking it. Yeon went 22, 8, and 20, 33% of damage. Core JJ, 6, 4, 44. Humanoid, 11, 15, and 12, 27% of damage in the loss. Yeon ended up actually pretty much doubling up Noah in DPM. Noah taking a lot of heat from EU fans. I think that's pretty misplaced. You want to glorify him during the season for playing well, and then all of a sudden now things don't go the way you planned and you get upset. And in my opinion, I think that's silly. This game is not a game that stays the same all the time. It changes every 2 weeks, and we kind of have to understand that and respect that. So in terms of making plays, TL made 12 to Fnatic's 10. Grubs 14 to 10 and Rift Herald's 3 to 1 in favor of Fnatic. TL doubling up in Drake's 10 to 5. TL averaged 2,500 gold over 3 Barons, so 25 each. And then 3,500 gold for Fnatic's 1 Baron in game 2. Top Esports Gen.g, this was a 5-game banger. I predicted Gen.g to win 3-2, even though I have Top Esports finishing higher than Gen.g. That's because I think Top Esports can win in the lower bracket and do what's got to be done. So, 5-game series, very competitive. A series actually that in game 5, Top Esports were in a good spot and threw it away. And I have people in my comment section saying that these two teams aren't close, and that Gen.g is so much better than Top Esports. I would hope that this series would be indicative of how close these teams are. I think when you watch this, if you really think Gen.g is miles better than Top Esports, maybe you need to watch more League of Legends and understand what's going on. So game 1, slow. This whole series was pretty slow. Gen.g want it to be that way because slowly but surely they can just break open leads against their opponent. So game 1, 1.9k gold lead for Keen. He played a Vayne and a Ryze in this 5-game set. But game 5 was relatively, damage-wise, non-existent. So 1.9k gold lead on the Vayne, 35 CS lead over 369, 900 gold lead and 36 CS lead for Tian in the jungle. In my opinion, I'd rather have that gold on Keen, and it worked out for Gen.g. So Grubs were split 3-3, and in this series, I think, 4 of 5 games, Grubs were split, which is something interesting, especially because we look at the other series, and 2 of those 4 they were split. But earlier on in the tournament, we saw a lot more of the handshake, and I did mention that the handshake still was present in Fnatic TL, but not as much. So we'll keep looking at that as well, in addition to how Grubs versus Drake went, but also, are the Grubs losing value, or are they gaining value and importance for these teams as the tournament goes along? And we're watching better teams play each other, right? More competitive matchups that, you kind of can't just say, oh, well, we're just going to take Drakes and win on Soul Point, or we're going to take Grubs and just win this in under 30 minutes. They're trying to, figure things out. So, game 1, Grubs split 3-3. Gen.g took the Rift Herald. Top Esports took 3 Drakes to 2, but Gen.g took 2 Barons, and that was a big deal, right? You're able to siege 2,500 gold on average between those 2 Barons, and Gen.g take it. Game 2, quick laning phase, 12 minutes long. Gen.g would win this one as well. Gold lead in all 4 areas, 600 gold lead in top jungle mid. Only 1 play attempted by Gen.g in bot side, a very slow game, and slow games help Gen.g, right? Like I said, they just slowly get ahead because, frankly, Chovy into Cream, better. Canyon into Tian, better. Now, Keen and 369, that should be close, but matchup dependent nonetheless. Grubs 4-2 in favor of Gen.g. They took the Rift Herald again, 3 Drakes to 1, and had a very successful power play of 3,500 gold. Game 3, Top Esports would respond. So at 15 minutes, laning phase ended. 1.9k gold lead for Jackie Mako. That's sizable, right? Pays and Lehen struggling in that one because Top went bot side 3 times. That would help, right? Really ensured we're going to put our eggs in the Jackie Mako basket. And then Cream also started coming online as the series went along, and in Game 5 left a little bit to be desired on the Akali, but I thought Cream took a big step forward in his development in this one. So 5 Grubs to 1. Nobody took Harold in game 3. 3 Drakes to 1 in favor of Top Esports, and Top Esports actually had a 1,600 gold power play. Excuse me. So turning those leads for Jackie Love Mako, as well as an 800 gold lead for Kareem into a victory. I'm trying to remember which games Jackie Love played Draven. I think he played it twice in 5 games. Jackie, of course, that is one of his premier picks, a champion that's been buffed on this patch, something that we've been looking forward to as a difference maker. Game 4, very quick laning phase. 11:30 was the end of it. In terms of making plays, 2-2 each side, Grubs are split 3-3. However, Top Esports took 4 Drakes to none. That's a big deal, right? They ended up taking a Hextech Drake. Hextech is, if I recall, pretty strong Drake. So, of course, that is, a nice thing to have. Hell, why am I even trying to, even talk about it in this way? We know if you get Soul, it's like an 80% win rate or something like that. So, to be honest, hell, if you get a Soul that's the worst Soul in the game, you're probably still in a good position. Usually you get Drakes when you're ahead. I mean, that's pretty standard as the mid to late game goes along. Like, you have to be in a good spot. You have to either win the fight to take the Drake or get prio on the Drake and be able to choose, I'm going to take this. Now you either come into me or you go elsewhere in terms of, team versus team. So, 11:30, 1K gold lead for Jackie Love Mako once again. Gen G up 13 CS. That should show you that Jackie Love Mako getting kills, getting turret plates, where Gen G out farming them, but not able to match in gold. So, early game going in the favor of Top Esports, winning those skirmishes, 2,500 gold power play. Game 5, however, Top Esports had a lead and threw it away. They went bot side 3 times. They got Jackie Love Mako in a decent position, but by the time laning phase ended at about 14 minutes, there was a 100 gold lead for the bot duo of Gen G, and they were up about 26 CS, 28 CS. So you would say to yourself, well, it's 100 gold. That's not a big deal. And no, it's not. But if you invest all that time in putting a area of your team ahead, a player on your team ahead, they need to go and take that lead and run with it, and it didn't happen. Top side for Gen G, very far ahead. Keen, 1.1k. Canyon, 1.1k on the Nidalee, and Canyon was a massive difference maker in the mid to late game. Now, Keen, 8% damage share in game 5. Lahens had 16%. And Lahens was on an Ashe, yeah, but I think Keen was on K'Sante, and his K'Sante is supposed to be the best K'Sante in the world, but it dealt 8% damage share. So, I mean, yes, one game is not indicative of his entire, catalog of games on K'Sante. I'm just saying that his K'Sante was not the reason that they won this one. The big team fight where Chovy was killed, and then Gen G still won 4-5. I mean, that was kind of important, but nonetheless, Pays, I thought, played really well in that one, and as did Canyon. So, Top Esports invest all this to bot side. It doesn't get them ahead in the end. Gen G are in a good spot now. Canyon's ahead, and his Nidalee's dealing quite a bit of damage. Not only that, they took all 6 grubs. First time in this series where a team took all 6, then they took Rift Herald, and when you get all those grubs, you took a Rift Herald, Drakes are 2-2, and you take Baron, you're probably going to win. So 2,400 gold Baron with all those grubs results in a win for Gen G. In terms of making plays, it was 10-8, 10-7. Geez, I just said 3 different. 10-7 in favor of Top Esports. Grubs, 17-13 in favor of Gen G, 3-1 in Rift Heralds. Top Esports, 13-8 in Drakes. Power plays, Top Esports averaged just under 2,100 gold with their 2 Barons. Gen G, 27.50 over 4. Chovy, 13-12-24, 38% of damage in the win. His KDA may not be shocking, but the damage share shows he carried this one. His Corki dealt a lot of damage, as did his Azir. Pays, 26-11 and 22. And Chovy also ate a lot of bans and still did that. Chovy really showing up. Pays, nice KDA, and won that key team fight after Chovy was knocked out, where Top Esports had an opportunity to turn Game 5. Probably an MVP level team fight in that one out of Pays. Very aggressive. Cream, 22, 8, and 20, 32% of damage and loss. I thought that was massive. He led the team. Game 5 on the Akali, like I said, left a little bit to be desired, but Akali, in my opinion, is one of those picks that I just hate seeing. I'm not a big Akali guy. Once you end up behind, I feel like Akali is the type of champion that isn't going to bring you back. So, once it was behind, it was hard for them to get back into this one. Because Top Esports had the kills, and Gen.g were just keeping up in that department, but all of a sudden, Gen.g are up 6 to 8k gold because they're able to push back Top Esports, and Top Esports can't go into them. So, kind of screwed them. So Cream, I mean, that was big, 22, 8, and 20, and led the team in damage. That's massive, and that's part of why I said, you know, predicting Gen.g to win 3-2. I still think Top Esports can finish higher than Gen.g at this tournament. I don't know why anybody would think that's not possible after a 5-game series. I think it could go either way. And as long as Cream continues to get better and gets comfortable on stage, we may see Cream really, develop in front of our eyes to a higher level than I've already mentioned. Preview for tomorrow, G2 PSG. They've played against each other twice at MSI in the past. MSI 2023, G2 would win 2-0. They have also played before that, and PSG won those 2 games 2-0. So all-time, 2-2. G2 cannot overlook the PCS because the PCS have been overlooked by FlyQuest and then BLG. If G2 overlooked PSG tomorrow, I'm going to be really disappointed in the G2 coaching staff and probably question what they were doing the last couple days, because PSG have shown that they deserve respect. Maple and Betty, Junjia, Aji, and Woody even all deserve respect. So the last time these two teams played, like I said, G2 won 2-0. 8 of the 10 starters are the same. PSG now have Maple and Betty instead of Yubao and Wako, and those both are upgrades. So Broken Blade, Yike, Mickey went 32, 20, and 77, 53% of damage in the win. Aji, Junjia and Woody, 11 and then 35 deaths. So 11 kills, 35 deaths, 36 assists, 38% of damage. So they got smoked last time. But historically, EU has not been like an easy win over the PCS and VCS, especially at MSI. So I think that there needs to be a healthy amount of respect for PSG tomorrow. BLG T1. These two teams have played against each other twice last year. All time they're 3-3. At Worlds 2023, T1 would win 2-0. 9 of the 10 starters are the same. Knight is in place of Yagao now, so BLG are slightly better. Now that Knight also plays Azir, he played it in Game 5 against PSG, I believe, for a reason. Or at least played it in Game 4. He's willing to play it now, which is important. So, Zeus, 337, 29% of damage in the win, led the team in DPM. Bin, 241, 17% of damage in the loss. Like I said, all-time 3-3. I mean, Faker and a Knight. Faker has put the team on his back once more if this team wants to win. Guma and Carey have performed very well. Elk and On against PSG left a little bit on the table. If Elk doesn't step out of place and disrespect his opponent, he should be okay. On into Carrier. I did have On ranked higher than Carrier going into this one, although I still think Carrier is the best player in the world. So that's going to be a really fun matchup. I'm interested to see what counter picks they might have for each other because both have champion oceans, and that is part of the reason why I'm rating On so highly now. I feel like he's taken on that risk taker vibe. And I really like that in terms of champion selection. In terms of the rest of the Rift, I mean, obviously Shun into Owner. Shun is better. So Faker needs to work that one out and micromanage Owner to a position where he has a chance. So thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord. Become a YouTube supporter. And I hope to see you again tomorrow.